I wonder if you've seen the film The Devil Wears Prada. If you have, you won't forget Miranda Priestly, played by Meryl Streep. She is the editor of New York's most popular fashion magazine, Runaway. Ruthless and cynical, she is intimidating and manipulative, the queen of the fashion industry. Andy Sash, played by Anne Hathaway, is the rather naive young graduate fresh from university who wants to be a fashion journalist. A down-to-earth girl, she lands the magazine job a million girls would die for. Junior PA to Miranda Priestly. She's quickly sucked into all the glamour, the power and ambition of the fashion world. Andy puts up with the eccentric and humiliating requests of her boss because she's told if she lasts a year in the position, she'll get her pick of other jobs, perhaps even the journalistic position she truly craves. In the middle of the film, there's a poignant scene where Andy has an argument with her boyfriend, Nate, because her work is consuming all her time. They're standing outside a restaurant late one night and Nate complains about how she has missed his birthday, how she constantly is late for their dates and how he hardly ever sees her anymore. "I didn't have a choice," she said. He looks at her as if to say, "Of course you've got a choice." And then her mobile phone goes. It's her boss, Miranda. As she stands there, she's faced quite clearly with a choice. Outside the restaurant with her boyfriend at 11 p.m, the choice is very clear: to answer the phone or not. There's a pause as the phone continues to ring, and then Andy says, "I'm sorry, Nate," and she reaches the phone. Immediately, Nate responds, "The person whose calls you always take, that's the relationship you're in. I hope you two are very happy together." And with that, he walks away. For Andy, her career was the phone call she always took. Her career was the biggest influence on the decision she made. Now, don't tell me you've not been there. I have. That you've never chosen the thrill of the out-of-hours phone call from your boss that cuts into a date, or time with your spouse or your family. Whose calls do we always take in life? Who or what are the strongest influences for us when we have to make a decision? Is our work a profession or an obsession? In his book, Christians in the Marketplace, Bill Hybels observes, nearly 20 years ago, Jesus asked his disciples a question that continues to challenge the minds and thoughtful men and women today. Recorded in Matthew 16:26, it reveals a wisdom far beyond the wisdom of this world and an unparalleled comprehension of the economics of human values. With it, Jesus cuts to the core of man's quest for meaning, for fulfillment, for security, and for prosperity. He probed the thoughts that are pondered deep in the recesses of human hearts. Matthew 16:26. What good will it be for you to gain the whole world, yet forfeit your soul? What can you give in exchange for your soul? World conquest isn't easy. It demands a high price, maybe even your soul. Some try and appear to succeed. Quote, "He didn't have much choice but to sell. It was summer 2006, a little more than 2 years after Mark Zuckerberg and friends had created Facebook in their Harvard dorm room as a way to better connect with schoolmates. College kids across the nation clamoured for access, which Zuckerberg doled out school by school. By mid-2006, about 7 million users, most of them college students, had a Facebook account. Then Yahoo came calling with a bid of $1 billion of cash. The pressure became too much. He relented, verbally agreeing to sell Facebook to Yahoo. But he wasn't convinced. Yahoo wasn't a serious partner, and that Facebook would be worth more on its own. So he rejected the offer and became famous as the cocky youngster who turned down $1 billion. Today, Zuckerberg is famous for other reasons, but one thing analysts think he could be: the nation's richest man. Pretty cool. You might be tempted at the age of 23, the world is at your feet. But ask the same question when you're 73. I don't know what impact having that kind of money is having on Mark Zuckerberg's soul, but I know what a fraction of it would do to mine. Remember how Satan tempted Jesus? The devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their splendor. All this I will give you, he said, if you will bow down and worship me. Jesus resisted that temptation, but could you? Are you? In the verses before us today, Jesus tells us how to. How work can be our profession and not become our obsession. Turn with me, please, to Matthew 16:21 to 28. And let's notice 3 imperatives that will inoculate us from allowing our work to become an obsession. The cost of being Christ's disciple, verses 24 and 25, denial. The value of being Christ's disciple, verse 26, calculate. And the incentive for being Christ's disciple, verse 27, reward. First of all, the cost of being Christ's disciple, denial. Verse 24, Jesus said to his disciples, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves, take up their cross and follow me. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will find it." Following Jesus involves some critical decisions about our priorities. Notice the direct language. Notice the imperatives Jesus uses. Must, because following Jesus is not optional. Deny, because following Jesus will not be popular. Cross, because following Jesus is a one-way journey. Lose, because following Jesus may not be safe. Notice also this isn't an invitation, but a summons. It's a call. My disciple. That says who we follow. Because Christianity is not a belief system. It's not a set of rules or a moral code. It's not a religion. It's about a person, Jesus, and following him. That's who we follow. Then he says deny themselves. That says how we follow. Take up their cross. That says where we follow. And whoever loses their life for me will find it. That says why we follow. We cannot accuse Jesus of ambiguity here or lacking clarity, can we? He lays down the terms of being his disciple simply, clearly, and plainly. There's no negotiation, no second opinion. If Jesus is indeed the only way to God, then there is only one way to follow him. His way. Luke records this conversation and he adds the word daily. Take up their cross daily. This isn't therefore a once and for all decision, but a daily choice. A daily choice. Not my will, but his. Not my priorities, but his. This isn't about what will make me the most happy, wealthy and secure. It's about discerning how Jesus wants me to invest my life for him. And with the imperative command comes a glorious promise. Whoever loses their life for me will find it. We may be incredibly poor, but indescribably happy. The cost of being Christ's disciple is denial, because following Jesus involves critical decisions about our priorities. Let's notice, secondly, the value of being Christ's disciple. That's about calculating. Verse 26. What good will it be for you to gain the whole world and forfeit your soul? Or what can you give in exchange for your soul? You see, following Jesus involves ultimate questions about your values. It is as if, for a moment, Jesus speaks the language of the city. Let's talk business, he says. Let's talk terms, profitability, bottom lines, return on investment, net gains, gilt edge, a long-term partnership. I mean, really long-term. But let me ask you first, the first question. Is it good business practice to invest 60 years of your life building an empire, reaping all this world has to offer, and then find you've lost your soul in eternity? Does that compute? Is that a good trade, 60 years for eternity? Think about that. What will all your high achievements, all your records, your status, your investments, and all your power do for you when the finite quota of your days on earth is spent? In our businesses and secular organizations, we may be considered key people, uniquely gifted in identifying the basic problems that jeopardize profitability and productivity. We may excel in the marketplace, becoming the presidents of companies, the chairmen of boards, the chief executives of corporations. We may be respected for our insight and perception of the reality of business. But can we apply our practical business savvy to the larger matters of life and eternity? We know how to make right choices in business, but do we likewise how to make right choices in life? You see, then Jesus raises the stakes with the second question, a question perhaps for those who have begun to waver over the first. Verse 26. Or what can you give in exchange for your soul? It's as if Jesus is saying, let's trade. Let's do a deal. Let's talk values and comparisons. You've one soul, right? Is there anything worth trading? Anything worth trading for your soul? I mean, anything? No, I don't think so. Is there? These are profound, haunting words, aren't they? Jesus says there is a connection between gaining the world, whatever that means for you, and neglecting the greater issues of life. You know, I'm amazed at otherwise responsible men and women making the same foolish choices. Even people who claim to be Christians persist in their attempts to gain as much of the world as they can, while day by day they experience the disintegration of their health, their marriages, their children, and their spiritual lives. One translation of this verse puts it, what can a person give to buy back their life? The idea is that he has already lost it by making the fatal choice, because for the soul there is no equivalent. When it has once been lost at death, it cannot be relived or recovered. Time travels in one direction. We never get a second go at it. Profit or loss, fair exchange or false accounting. Two questions we must answer for ourselves. The cost of following Jesus involves critical decisions about our priorities. The value of being Christ's disciple is following Jesus involves ultimate questions about your values. Lastly, I want us to consider the incentive being Christ's disciple. Verse 27. For the Son of Man is going to come in his Father's glory with his angels, and then he will reward everyone according to what they have done. I wonder, are you sufficiently incentivized at work? What does it take to keep you motivated to work morning by morning? Next month? Next year? Is it 1% above inflation? 2%? How big does the end of year bonus need to be? How many noughts? Anticipating that you might just need an incentive to persevere, Jesus promises a reward. In fact, Jesus often speaks of rewards. Matthew 5:12, Luke 6:23. Rejoice in that day, he says, and leap for joy, because great is your reward in heaven. Now, Jesus doesn't spell out what that reward will look like, but it will be great and it will be worth leaping about. This, I suggest, is how we ensure our work is a profession and not an obsession. We're working for the Lord, not for human masters. And what is the inheritance for those who follow Christ? In 2 Corinthians we're told this, 2 Corinthians 3:17-18. And we all, who with unveiled faces contemplate the Lord's glory, are being transformed into his image with ever-increasing glory, which comes from the Lord who is the Spirit. Therefore we do not lose heart. Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. So we fix our eyes on Jesus. We fix our eyes on what is unseen, since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. That's 2 Corinthians 3:17-18, 4:16 and 18, with an interjection from Hebrews. This is our inheritance. When we live for Christ, we become more like him. We become more and more the person God intends us to be. So to lose yourself for Jesus and for the gospel is not an act of desperation. It's an act of devotion. James Cavaziel was asked how he felt about playing Jesus in the film The Passion. He replied this way: I love him more than I ever knew possible. I love him more than my wife, my family. I don't want people to see me. I want them to see Jesus. How about you? Let me close with a song from John Stoddard. It's called Anything. I'm not going to sing it, but I'll read the words to you. And let's use it as a prayer. How do I get close to you when you seem so far away? What I wouldn't give to talk to you face to face. I have to keep believing that it won't be very long till the day I look up and it won't be a dream. Chains breaking all around me, I can finally be free. So if you are wondering what you mean to me, you've changed my whole reality. And nothing in this world can take my heart, because I'll do anything for you. I'll do anything if you only ask me to. I'll do anything just to be with you. How do I keep getting up every time I fall down? Such a strange kind of walking with my feet up off the ground. I'm not giving up till I make it back home, where I know you'll be waiting with your arms open wide. What a day for reunions when we meet up in the sky. Somehow I know it will be worth it all. Those tears I cry, the times I fall, because you've made yourself so very real to me. I'll do anything for you. I'll do anything if you only ask me to. I'll do anything just to be with you. I'm waiting for that day when we can fly away. Promise me you'll live inside my heart, my heart. I'll do anything for you. I'll do anything if you only ask me to. I'll do anything just to be with you. I'll go anywhere if I can be right by your side. I'll give up everything just to look into your eyes. I'll do anything. I wonder if you can say that to Jesus. I'll do anything. If you only ask me to, I'll do anything just to be with you. I'll go anywhere. I can be right by your side. I'll give up everything just to look into your eyes. Amen.